This is what's happening at Gunnar Racing on June 4th, 2014, working on the Canapa 917 project. We're going to give you a little live stuff. Some of these YouTubes that we do, or some of the flip cam or GoPros that you see, might have been done a day or two before. This one is what's happening today, June 4th. So you can get a dissertation from what we do and not knowing when I say, and tomorrow we're going to do this and tomorrow we're going to do that. Now you know what's happening on Wednesday, June 4th, 2014. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a first coat of primer on these parts, which are the two doors and the nose cover. Then we're going to walk out. Jesse, our trusty camera person, is going to film as we go around. And what else we're doing to this 917 today, Wednesday, June 4th, 2014. Now keep in mind, there's a birthday coming up, June 9th, 1953. Yes, I was born. I was reminded today that my birthday is coming. Oh boy, just what I want to know. Anyway, I'll close the door, which makes noise, put a coat of paint on, and then we'll go through and we'll do some more what we're doing today, June 4th, 2014. Because when these cars went to John Wire or any of the other teams, they were already in white gel coat, which is what you saw underneath this. Then they sanded the car and painted it, because especially John Wire knew that the paint was very heavy. Lacquer paint is half the weight of an enamel paint. He would put 2 coats of paint on the car just to get color on, and away they'd go. So if anybody ever takes the paint off this car, they'll probably go, well, where's the primer? Well, typically, we're not trying to fake anybody out, but if you put gray primer or K2, one of the yellow primers or brown primers on this, the problem is when it gets chipped during racing, campaigning, vintage racing, whatever, it will show the primer color through it. This paint won't. If it chips slightly, it'll chip to blue, so the car will look better longer. Patina comes with age, patina comes with racing. It eventually, if you don't care for it or over care for it, the car will look more and more and more like it used to. So we do this for a reason. When it chips, it's going to chip white. That's the way they chipped when they were raced in the old days. So anyway, I'll come back after we do this and I'll put another 2 coats on So then I have something to sand tomorrow to then get ready for the final paint, and then the stripes. The top of the doors get the stripe which matches the roof of the car, and of course the front of the cooler cover gets the angle of the smile, as I refer to it, as the paint that's up here that matches what's already on the car. So anyway, I'll put my gun up so you can follow me around. Get the back of my head, I guess. You can hear Nolan grinding away. Nolan, cool it. So Nolan is preparing the left side pod of the car right now. He's taking all the surface from when we stripped this back to bare metal, so primer and fillers will stick to it. So he's just starting to rough this up. You can see this is a shiny spot where we patched a couple holes and some old rivet holes and so on. But anyway, this is kind of what it starts like after it's been done. Of course, there's Mondo, as we call her, filler in it, because it has to match the other parts of the car. The front middle part of the door and the back where the tail is. They all have it. We try not to put a lot on, but you have to use filler on these cars. Not all 917s have two aluminum side pods, but because this one did, we kept it. It's important to the car to keep things like this. Most of the wire cars had an aluminum side pod on the fuel side, which is the right side of the car, and this one was either fiberglass or aluminum. So we leave it the way we got it. Nolan just took the paper off this side pod, which is now finished. You can see the paper towels on the bottom to help protect it until it, or while it's not on the car. But you can see that's the final paint, which is the Gulf Orange. It has a little flattener in it to make it look like the lacquer color. Not super shiny because they didn't actually paint them that way. So anyway, come on through here and we'll show you what's going on with the rest of the car. Thanks, Nolan. Yep. So Jesse's coming in with the camera now. And we'll see what the other guys are doing. So the dancing guy looks like he's just cleaned the oil tank out. That's Brett. We put a shine on everything that's aluminum, and then we put a phosphoric acid mix in it to tone it out, so it's not shiny, shiny, shiny. The normal patina will happen through time, and it will look duller and duller and duller, which makes it look more like it did in the day. But you have to wait for time to do that, but you can't deliver it looking bad. Just like the paints and all the things I've already talked about, with the paint on the chassis looking too nice now until it gets chipped up and starts to really look good. You can see I've just produced an original set of the intake caps, which are the Porsche design, and all the race cars. This engine didn't have these. Bruce is pretty lucky. Again, why Bruce chose us to do this is because I had an original set. We will attach the wire that connects them together, and they'll be just exactly like the original ones. Andy is doing the wiring, hooking up the alternator, making sure the coils, the starter, the auxiliary starter, booster, and everything else connected. So Andy's head in deep and going to town on the wiring. Now Brett has already put all the suspension on, which we talked about a couple days ago. But remember, this is now today, June 4th, 2014. This is what you can see, which is being done on Wednesday. This suspension was actually on the car yesterday, and today Brett has installed the stabilizer bar, which is this right here, and he's now making the links for it. In the meantime, while he's waiting for Andy to move or to get out of the way, he'll clean the oil tank. He'll install the oil tank while Andy finishes the wiring. You can see he's got little things tore up here and there, cables, hoses, wires, and whatnot. So you can peek his little hand in there. Say hi to everybody with your left hand, Andy.
Hi, everybody.
See, there he is. See, he's in there. He's somewhere. But anyway, you can see Andy has been busy up front here, and he's got the big headlights in, which are NOS. For anybody that doesn't know NOS, that means new old stock, or NLA, which means no longer available. But I had a set. These had Porsche 917 part numbers on them. I figured they were going to be for my 917, but Canepa scores them, as he scored the trumpet covers and the new floorboard, which I have the only one left in the world, original foot floorboard for these. And I just have to make sure Bruce will pay me the king's ransom I want for it to put it in this very, very cool Porsche that is also famous. We talked about the poster up here, the World Championship poster. Well, it's kind of cool that they put the number 9 car on it. But it should have been the number 10 car, because the number 10 car is a car, of course, at Brands Hatch, the BOAC round of the World Championship in 1970, where Sifford and Rodriguez had the battle, and Rodriguez kind of walked away in the rain and won the race by 5 laps, and Sifford pretty much crashed out trying to catch him. There was no comparison between anybody and Rodriguez. That's Pedro Rodriguez that day, because he drove like a magician. 5 laps he won by. This car is famous in the shot. The Porsches in the rain, the two 917s, and most people don't know how many laps that Rodriguez finished ahead of Sifford, but of course Sifford crashed out trying to catch him. But this car is pretty famous because it landed on the poster, and it's being done now. Again, this is the first 917 ever to finish a race, so it's kind of cool. It didn't race much after that. It's when the car was then transferred from Porsche before it went back to John Wyer. They replaced the chassis with number 17, and now the 004 car with the serial number 004 car, which is in Seattle, is actually the number 17 car after the BOAC race. Okay, so for everybody that chimes in to the Facebook or to the Gunnar Racing website, or some of the other places you see this, that's how this all happens. Wyer needed the carnet to stay intact. Porsche just replaced the car. They switched the number. I won't say who switched the number. You can read it in all the latest Porsche books now in the 917. The latest is Walter Nayer's book, which had help from Porsche. It's the best Porsche 917 book currently, although there's lots of other great 917 books. But anyway, this car is a product of that. That's why we refer to it sometimes as 004 after the 017. That's only because we are doing the car as 004, even though it's 017. Okay? After 004, the car had a illustrious career with David Piper, and then other people vintage racing the cars before Bruce bought the car and hired us to restore it. So anyway, that's kind of what's happening today. And what's today? June 4th, 2014, and it is now 15 after 2, pretty much. So all of you now put a timeline together when this video was shot. So don't go, how come that was that way, and yesterday and this morning we got videos and the car wasn't even painted? That's because we like to switch things up. We find more information that we haven't shown anybody, so we do it just to keep everybody excited because it's a really cool project. So anyway, these guys will keep working, and we'll go back to it. I'll go paint those doors, and we'll sign off until tomorrow or the next day. We'll bring some more action as to what we're doing not on June 4th, 2014. For Brett, Andy, Jesse, Nolan, Paul, and Martin, Sharon, and the cats. Until then, bye.